Everybody wants to have a great physique like Hrithik Roshan. ठीक है सपना मेरे को ऋतिक रोशन का बॉडी चाहिए. Now can you do it by yourself? You need support. You need support from somebody who has done it before, right?
Yeah.
If COVID wouldn't have happened, would we have grown better than this? Maybe we could have, but would we have done better job in terms of our profitability? Not sure. You bought a new machine, you don't have volume, so what happens? It becomes an ideal asset. So ideal asset is not going to bring you money.
Right.
So if you have an asset, you need to utilize the asset 100%. Optimum utilization of the resources is the name of the game in any management.
Before moving ahead, would like to bring your attention on a wonderful new product, a reusable notebook from NARA. It's a 100% tree-free, waterproof and tear-proof notebook which can be used endlessly for years together. I think it's a great step towards a sustainable future and a new step in note-taking. I have been personally using this notebook and have been able to save 6 to 8 pages every day. If you are interested in knowing more about this product, the link for the product is in the description below. Hi Vinod, welcome to Ink Stories.
Thank you for having me here.
I've been following you on LinkedIn for a while in terms of your journey.
I hope it's just following,
You've got an interesting journey. No, I have not known you personally. I have seen your role in Scanum before your current role, and you've been doing phenomenal stuff. And you are the first professional CEO to our podcast as a guest. So welcome again to Ink Stories.
Thank you.
So since we are in paucity of time, let's try to move the discussion quick. Sure. I think let's start with your journey and how did you get into this industry and how did you reach where you are today?
Okay, so I've got around close to 23 plus years of experience. I started my career way back in 1999. I'm a mechanical engineer from Kerala.
Okay.
Though I've just done my engineering from Kerala, my father was in the army, so I was born in Bengal, moved in a lot of states. So the first job that I landed upon was selling software, 98 in Chennai, hospital management software, a small company. The first big break for me was around 8 months hence after that. I joined this company called Precall. It's a listed company. It's a huge company. At that time, it had a joint venture with Dentsu Corporation Japan. It was India's #1 auto ancillary company at that time, prestigious company. So I started my career with them in exports, handling Southeast Asian market and very critical customers like Caterpillar, New Holland, John Deere, Holden Motors, General Motors Australia. These were the customers that I was handling. 3.5 years with them. Then I decided to look for a change. I joined ACG, Associated Capsules Group, in their engineering division. I joined them as a senior engineer. They gave me Southeast Asia market first. Then they gave me LATAM market. So I was handling both. In 9 or 10 months, there was an opportunity in the US market. They decided that they need somebody, a bit more persuasive person to come into their US market. So they replaced an existing general manager with, a potential candidate. So it happened to be me. They felt that maybe I will be a good fit out there. So I still
that should be way early in your career.
I think I was 26 at that time.
Quite young.
So for me, in fact, I remember when I landed up there, there was a good mass of Indian people out there. They were surprised to know that I'm from manufacturing background because they've only seen either pharmacists or computer engineers. So they said, "Kahan se aa gaya? Where have you come from?" So that was a big thing for me.
Yeah.
5 years in US. Had an opportunity to settle down there, but then took a decision to come back to India. The company they offered me to head the Europe operations. Did that for almost around close to a year and a half. The company gave me an opportunity to head their global business, which I did. So in ACG, there's a very nice way of harnessing the talent. So they have something called as a key talent pool. And, I was lucky that I was taken up in that pool based on the performances and the potential that they felt I had. And they made me do my MBA at NM, And I did that, and then they put me onto a course on lean manufacturing at Mahindra and Mahindra FES division in Kandivali. Yeah, it was a investment.
So how does it work? I mean, why would Mahindra and Mahindra allow ACG to?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. It was not by ACG. So this course was conducted by CII as an initiative to increase, awareness on manufacturing, especially on lean manufacturing, Toyota production system, so that other industries gets exposed to us.
Wow.
And it doesn't get restricted to only manufacturing industry.
Okay.
For me, it was a huge thing because I'd got around 8 other people along with me, very senior people from BHEL, Triveni Turbines, a couple of other companies. From pharma engineering, I think it was me.
That's a lovely initiative, huh?
It was. I think for me, it was like a turning point in my career.
Oh.
The reason being, I was all throughout in sales, and when you are in sales, you become very unidirectional. You don't think of anything, danda lana. You don't look at the other aspects. But this made a lot of change in me. I understood the value of operations, and it brought back the engineer in me, back onto the floor. Then immediately after that, they put me into an evaluation process in ACG to make sure that I'm ready to become a general manager. And I remember at the age of 34, I was the youngest general manager in ACG. Yeah.
Wow.
So it was a big thing, having joined them as a senior engineer in exports. I was with them till end of 2015. Great journey. Then I decided to move on. So they gave me a P&L of around 20 crores to handle. A great journey. Then I decided to move on. Then I got 2 offers with me. One was from a reputed, I would say, retail outlet, which is, of course, owned by a manufacturing company, to be their chief marketing officer, and also another offer from Scanum as their business head for the applicator division. So I took the latter because I didn't want to be a functional head, having already become a P&L head. I didn't want to go one step down. So I became the business head for Scanum. I was there for around 12 months. I felt I did a good job out there, because you'll come to know why I said this. So within this 12 months, I got an opportunity, to become the CEO of a NAC-BSE listed company. So at the age of 39, I became a CEO of a NAC-BSE listed company.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was not a huge company, but 125 crores company, 75 years old. This company was is still called Indian Card Clothing Company Limited. It's a listed company, very well known name in the textile engineering and machinery division or industry segment. 2.5 years with them. Then I got, the owner of Scanum got in touch with me. They were looking for an MD, and I decided to back to Scanum. Yes. So I joined them as their MD for India. 4 years plus I was with them.
Lovely.
We did quite a good job out there with the team. I think then 2022 October. Bhavesh Jindal reached out to me, and then it so happened that we decided to work with each other. 16th January 2023, I've joined as a CEO of Jindal SMI.
Lovely.
And it's been 10 months
that you're with SMI.
Yes, going strong.
So before going to the SMI story, I just wanted to pick you on the Scanum story. So when you joined Scanum, where was it in terms of revenue size, and when you left, if it's open for discussion?
No, I don't want to tell the revenue specifics, but I can tell you that when I entered, I still remember we were at a negative EBITDA position.
Okay.
And when I left, I think we were at around close to 6% EBIT positive.
Okay.
With a very strong cash position. And we were almost around close to 170 crores. That was the revenue that we had. So that was a journey. But I think it was also the time when we had the testing times of COVID.
Okay.
There were 2 ways to look at it. One, if COVID wouldn't have happened, would we have grown better than this? Maybe we could have. But would we have done better job in terms of our profitability? Not sure. The reason being, there was a pressure situation where, we had to respond faster because we were supplying to companies like Reckitt Benckiser for hand wash, sanitizer, etc., Procter & Gamble, Johnson, big companies who were into essential services. So we needed to up our ante.
Yeah.
And my family was in Pune, so I used to stay here in a really run-down hotel. No, really, it was like, for me, it was, even today, my erstwhile HR head says this to me: how did you do it? Because there were no facilities there, people were not there. But when you are passionate about something, you really don't look at the other things. For you, it's just a place where you go, take, get a nap, next day morning, come back to the plant. So we did that, and I think we had a very good rapport with the workmen. We had 4 sites in Scanum, and all the 4 sites we were doing 100%. There was no absenteeism. You can imagine the way
During
we used
COVID.
to absolutely. We used to connect with people in that way, and we grew at that time. Of course, the one thing which bothered us was the continuous increase in the raw material cost, which was a basic deterrent for me. And that's one of the other reasons why I thought, when I got an opportunity to join, when Bhavish called me up, I thought it's a great opportunity, because I wanted to bring in a level playing ground in this specific industry. Because my friends at Avery, they rule the roost. And I have no issue saying that, and I have great regard for Avery.
Yeah, it's a great
they've
company.
been a great company. The team is wonderful.
Yeah.
But then, I was just telling the other day that every strong company or every strong country, there has to be a strong opposition,
Right.
so that democracy thrives.
Right.
Otherwise, it will be anarchy.
Yeah.
The same goes for industries also. You need
Correct.
to have strong competition, which makes it very healthy.
Correct.
You have level playing ground. It becomes easy for you.
Right.
So I want to create that level playing ground. So when I got this opportunity, I thought, why not?
Grab it both hands.
Absolutely. And I'm telling you now, I have absolutely no regrets about that. Absolutely. Even though I had heard a lot of things, but I feel that it's your perspective, how you look at it.
Yeah, I mean, actually, before we get into the SMI story, because when the takeover actually happened, so people were like, it is going to be a part of such a large organization. Will it be even getting any kind of interest from the promoters? Because in terms of turnover, it is a rounding of error for the Jindal group.
Yes.
So will they really take it seriously? Was it acquisition worth? The sellers made a lot of money, but then was it really worth? And what is the future? So did you have any doubts in terms of?
No, absolutely. I told you that I was very clear right from the first meeting I had with Bhavish that we are poised to become a disruptive player in the market, and I was happy that I would be leading the charge. So I'm pretty clear why I'm here, and I know in the next 5 years what we will have to do. And 5,000 crores, nothing less than that. We're very, very clear. Organic, inorganic, all put together.
Lovely.
Yeah,
Lovely.
very
I mean,
clear.
you're looking at inorganic acquisitions.
We're looking at all kind of possibilities.
Lovely.
All kind of possibilities. Whatever is there in the frame now, in the picture, we're looking at all the
Can
possibilities.
I ask you what's the kind of market size for your segment in India in terms of revenue?
In terms of revenue?
Yeah.
So just to give you an idea, we're looking at somewhere around, in terms of volume, I can tell you, somewhere around close to 8 crore square meter on a monthly basis.
Monthly basis.
And
That's what you do, or this is your
No.
goal?
That is the total Indian market
Potential.
size. That's the market
Potential,
size.
okay.
That's a market size that we have. Now, every company owns a certain share of the market. We don't. We are probably barely in the early 2 digits in that. So you can understand.
So that's the
number
the
1 and
potential.
number 2 difference. We are number 2 in India. So you can understand what a difference that means from number 1 and number 2, and then you have the rest of the people following. So our focus is, of course, to be strong in the domestic market, but more importantly, our focus is more towards the international market, where we feel we can add tremendous amount
So
of
when you
value.
say 5,000 crores, what is the kind of skew from the domestic as well as the international operations, and what is the skew currently?
So we are currently at around close to 60-40, 60 exports, 40 domestic
Okay,
market.
that much of exports already.
Yeah. We plan to become 70-30, as revenue grows, because in India you can't be more than something. We want to be that 70 plus in the exports market. So we're looking at all the avenues to get into that level.
Lovely. I mean, Vinod, I wanted to ask you, you are in the printing industry. There are very few professional CEOs. I mean, large organizations. Yes, SMI is like now a part of a very large organization, but there are very few CEOs. So your thoughts about why have the printing company owners not really been investing in CEOs, and what are your thoughts around that space?
I don't know, I don't want to make a personal comment, but what I feel is that, lack of vision would be one of the things. Second thing is, decision making, keep close to the family, keep closer to the chest, decision making process. So I think that's probably something which might be the reason that they have not taken that decision.
How do you think hiring a professional CEO will help these organizations do better than what they are? Especially the companies who are in the range of 25 CR and aspiring to be a 100 crore or a 200 crore company. पहुंचना तो सबको है, लेकिन पहुंचने का जो रास्ता है वो काफ़ी जनों को क्लियर नहीं है. So is hiring a professional CEO one of the strategies in terms of reaching there?
See, I would try to give an answer in a separate way to this. Okay? Everybody wants to have a great physique like Hrithik Roshan. Okay? Let's say assume that I am probably more towards the obese side. Sapna मेरे को Hrithik Roshan का body चाहिए. Now, can you do it by yourself? You need support. You need support from somebody who has done it before, right?
Yeah.
You need a direction, you need a stepwise approach,
right?
Because it's just not working out. There's
right.
diet involved in it. There's workout in different styles. Maybe a bit of cardio, bit of strength, bit of mixed martial arts, bit of yoga. But if you don't get guided by the right person, your eventual destination or the goal will never be realized. It's exactly like that. You might have a great vision, but if you don't know how to go to that level, unless you are like a great visionary, you can. But if you feel that you need support, you need to ask for it.
Yeah.
What a better way than asking somebody who's done it before, who has knowledge in all facets of functions like sales, operations, finance, HR. Rather than the owner himself involving. Have a professional who will handle it in a way and get the dream realized.
You also said something earlier when we were talking about a business unit head. Instead of if not everyone can hire a CEO, they should at least start from a business unit head. Can you go deeper on that? I think that's a very good point that you mentioned.
See, if a company is, let's say, for example, 30, 40 crores and they want to grow to a 100, 250 crore company and they feel they cannot hire a CEO, so the best thing is hire a business unit head. You will get a lot of good business unit heads who are ready to, take this company which is at 35, 40 crore to 100, 200, 250 crores. Because, the guy is wanting to show a difference in the P&L area without having too much of risk and responsibilities. So, they should do it, because what happens is this person has got responsibilities and has got experience in marketing, finance, dribbled a bit on finance, knows a bit about HR. So whatever relevant areas that are required to be handled by a CEO, albeit at a N-1 level, can be handled by the business head.
Yeah, that would be a good stepping stone to move in that direction.
I would strongly recommend that.
One more question in that direction. I don't know if it's repetitive, but just to clear my thoughts also on this topic. Print company owners, they invest a lot in machinery. I really don't know in terms of how justified that is, but they invest a lot in machinery. I mean, your views in terms of, are these investments justified before having a professional setup? What are your thoughts around that?
See, for me, I don't want to comment about, what the owners decide, because ultimately it's their money. How do they invest in that? It's their prerogative. But for me, what the basic fundamental that I think is, if you have an asset, you need to utilize the asset 100%. Optimum utilization of the resources is the name of the game in any management services. Right. If you don't utilize an asset 100%, you already are running it inefficiently. Adding another new asset, at a higher cost, how are you going to be more efficient? You are actually restricting your cash flow.
Any examples that you have from your experience, if you don't want to speak anything specific? It would be easier for people to understand.
So for me, from my previous experience itself, we'll say, when I walked into Scanum, we had all 10, 12 years old machine, After my 4th year, I decided to buy a new Bobst M5. So 4 years, I ran all 14 machines, reduced our wastages from 22% to 14%. Each 2% basis of wastage adds at least 0.25% of your profit. Bottom line, straight away. Ab imagine karo 22 say you're bringing to 14, that means almost around 8%. 8% would mean at least 2% increase in your profitability.
Profit margins, yeah.
It's one step. But would you be able to perceive this, if you do not have a professional background, right? Now, why does this happen? It happens because, first of all, you need to understand the basics of production, right? And I feel, especially in labeling, somewhere down the line, we do not have a professional setup. Let's say, for example, basics like having a OE sheet in place. Checking there might be OE sheets, but what is the
What is OE for?
OE is basically overall equipment efficiency.
Okay.
Let's say, for example, if you're running, your machine for an entire shift, which means 100 percentile would be 480 minutes, right?
Okay.
Let's say, for example, if you run the machine only 50%. Why? Because you've got 2 or 3 changeovers, because your product changes. Every changeover, let's say 1 hour is gone, which means 180 is reduced from 480, remaining is 300. Then you have cleaning process involved in it, let's say around 30-35 minutes. Some stoppages, another 30-40 minutes. So roughly if you run at 220, 230, 240, which means out of 480, you're actually running at 240 minutes, which means your machine is actually running at 50% efficiency. Now, imagine this machine is supposed to run at 100 meters per minute, but you're running it at 50 meters per minute. Why? Because, it's a machine is old. So it doesn't have auto registration. It has got manual registration. You've got some issues. So you run it slow so that the print quality doesn't change. So what happens literally, out of this 50%, you are actually running 50% of that 50%. So imagine the level of inefficiencies that you are running. Imagine you're running 240 minutes of your machine at 100 meters per minute. You could have got 24,000, right? Running meters.
Right.
But now you're running it
only
at
12,000.
Exactly. So your productivity has drastically decreased.
Yeah.
So your current machine you are running at 50% or 50%. Imagine you put a new machine.
So what effectively you're telling is that unless you are being able to justify your existing machine and run it at the most efficient manner, you cannot even think of putting up another machine.
Now, how do you know you're running it efficiently? So you have to understand that. So your efficiency sheet, you will have to go through that sheet. You have to nitpick each and every variant in it. Every stoppage of the machine has to be understood by you, and then you need to strategize how you can improve your efficiency. Once your existing machine runs at, in printing, you cannot go more than 50%. Let's say 240 आपका maximum है. ठीक है? Unless you've got single lines, long running meters, then you can do much better than that. But if you have multiple jobs, then 240 minutes के ऊपर आपका जाएगा नहीं. But वो 240 minutes 100% utilize हो जाना चाहिए आपका.
बिल्कुल.
That if you achieve it, even if you are 90% of that, then it's time for you to think about the next machine. People say, nahi, we'll invest in new machines, we'll bring in new technology, we'll be a little bit more faster. But my question is, you already are running a business at sub 5% margin, because we know the printing industry runs at razor thin margin. The moment you add a new machine, you've got depreciation, you've got finance cost, everything built in your cost. So obviously, which was running at 5% profit margin, again dips down. You will take some time to start recovering the cost. But अगर volume आपको नहीं आता है, क्योंकि brand doesn't look at loyalty. आप कितने में दे रहे हो, आप कितने में दे रहे हो. If somebody is giving them 2 paise less, they will go to them.
Yes,
so you bought a new machine, you don't have volume. So what happens? It becomes an idle asset. So idle asset is not going to bring you money.
Right.
So for me, this is my view.
Yeah.
People may differ, and I respect those views, but for me, I wouldn't invest in anything unless I feel that it is utilized 100%.
But in terms of, there are these so many printers across the India, across Mumbai, and who are in this space, and we are wondering that when you're saying about these margins, how do these companies survive, and how are they really being able to expand and wanting that or having the dream to grow into a large business? I mean, there is a kind of a disparity there.
I don't know, Sujit. I have no clue. I think you need to have those people sitting here and giving you answer for this. I may not be able to give you the answer. For me, if you ask me this question, I would wait and watch, utilize my assets 100%, bring my cash flow to a level where I feel I've got strength in my cash position. then do I have space to put in this machine? If I put in this machine, is it going to add value to me? What is my return on assets going to be? What is my return of investment going to be? And that's why you need a professional to analyze all these things without any personal interest in this. You will have to take one step back and look at this as a business. Does the business really warrant this? Is the question. I'm sure most of the owners do that, but I'm saying that if
you need to be more rational towards
a bit more rational in terms of your thinking, a bit more on engineering, and then you need to put the basic engineering principles in the industry. The moment you have that, you will get the answers.
Again, in the paucity of time, I've just 3-4 questions more for you. One is in terms of there would be so many people who would want to be in a position like you, a CEO. Being a CEO of a large organization is a dream for most youngsters. So what would be your advice to them in terms of how should they shape their career in terms of they are young today at 2025, and how should they be looking at their career?
Right now, let me answer this question. I'm only 46, 47 now. So there's a long journey for me. I would probably give an answer. I will probably give the answer when I become the CEO of a $1 billion company very soon, before I turn 50 for sure. But for now, I would probably say one thing, that keep your head down and just focus on what you're supposed to do. The moment you start comparing yourself with the rest, then the focus is not improving yourself, but to how to defeat the other people. So you should never do it. Even when you run a company, your focus should never be competition, but your focus should be how to run your company in a better way, better than the other players, so that you can give a USP to your customer.
What I also basically meant was that most people are into functional roles, either sales mein hai, production mein hai, QC mein hai, ya finance mein hai. They are not into general management. So how do they have the transition of moving from a functional role into a general management role, which a CEO or a business unit head primarily does? So that transition, how should he move his career?
So I'll tell you. So right now it is he or she. So because he or
she. Absolutely.
So I would say today the companies have become so broad-minded that let's say, for example, if you have a effective HOD, and if the person comes and talks to the let's say the board of directors and requests them for a position change, today job switching, lateral placements is very common in good companies, in any company. So that is something people should look for. Let's say, for example, a sales head should look at the possibility of handling finance, because if you don't have knowledge of finance, it's very difficult for you to run a company.
Very good point.
Sales head should look into getting into operations role, because if you don't know operations, then you never understand the nuances of operations. You will never be able to run a company. Same way you should trade places with the HR, because if you don't connect with people, because people is what makes an organization. If you don't connect with people, then you're not there at all. So you need to look for lateral placements if you want to improve yourself. I think I was lucky, because my company did it for me. It was easy for me because my company did it. It's not that I went and asked. For me, it was, I was lucky to find a good company where I worked, where this company developed me to what I am today. So otherwise, if individual they want to grow, they have to look for lateral placements within the company where they feel they can improve their skills. That's something I would say.
Lovely. Good points. I'm sure youngsters who are aspiring to get into senior leadership roles can probably think on these steps and start talking in their organizations of how they could move there. And about this podcast, what are your thoughts? How do you think this is, and how do you feel that we should change or what should be the changes that we should get into our podcast?
No, I think it's a great initiative, first of all, Sujit, because, you've been chasing me. I'm sorry, you've been chasing me for quite a long time to have the podcast. I've been trying to do my best to dodge you, because normally I don't get into podcasts. But, because of your insistence, I'm sitting here. But now that I've interacted with you, I think it's a very good opportunity for people within the fraternity to know each other. Know what are the good things that can be learnt. I think learning never stops. Learning has to be there. It's a part and parcel of growth. So this is a great opportunity where people can learn from the compatriots, peers. So this should continue. I don't think you need to change anything. It's great the way it is. And I'm sure there will be a lot of people who will view this, and this will grow. Absolutely, it will grow. Absolutely, it'll grow. I'm sure I'll become a catalyst towards this.
Absolutely, you will be, with the kind of work you're doing. More power to you, more power to your group, and hope you reach your goals that you have planned.
Absolutely.
All the best to that.
Amen to that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Vinod.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate your
Thanks,
time.
thanks,
Thank you.